Hi, this is Cameron back again to make a video. This time my Desert Island albums. I'm making it into two different videos. The first is from A up to the letter beginning of K, and second will be K to Z. So my basic rule is that I feature an artist only once, and I try to avoid having collections or greatest hits. So to start off with, there's a band out of the United States that became very popular in Canada. It's from 1977, Alpha Centauri. Then an album that came out in 1970, but it's a British sort of rock band, harder rock band. But it's an early 80s reissue, Atomic Rooster, Death Walks Behind You. Also out of England, a band that became very, very popular in Canada, in particular in my city, Winnipeg. Audience, House on the Hill. This came out in 1971. I had a chance to see them on their reunion tour about 10 years ago with Howard Worth, the original singer, a couple of the other players, and then a new drummer. And I think they stopped touring, at least for a while, because their young drummer is the one who passed away. It was unfortunate, but audience did come to my city 3 times within about a 2-year period. Next up, I had Blind Faith, but there's a controversial cover, so I'll leave that one out. Cheap Thrills, Big Brother and the Holding Company, 1968, with Janis Joplin. It's a 80s reissue. This is an original from 1968 or 1969, pardon me. Joe Bird and the Field Hippies, the American Metaphysical Circus, which is sort of a orchestral rock band. In the next video, I'm going to show the earlier band, which was United States of America. I just think this guy Joe Bird is brilliant. Next up is a newer artist from 1988, Tracy Chapman. This is her introductory album. I had a chance to see her play at the Mariposa Folk Fest in 1988, and I was mesmerized by her voice. This may be cheating because this is, it is, I believe, a collection rather than one of their original albums. This is the Chocolate Watchband, a garage band from the 60s. Let's Talk About Girls, a reissue on Eva from the early 80s. I do have some of their other albums reissued, again in the 80s. This is an original, just an absolutely brilliant album by Chrysalis. Every song sounds distinct. I guess my favorite song on the album is probably April Grove. It's haunting. Now, when I decided not to show Blind Faith, I decided to show a great Canadian album from the late 60s, early 70s, I believe about 1970, a band called Christmas, and this is their album Heritage. It's quite a hard album to find nowadays. I've had it for about 20 plus years. Even at that time, it was priced at $40. Another band out of Canada who later on became Chilliwack. This is their first album, The Collectors, with Lydia Purple, 1968. So BC had a very vigorous Very vigorous sort of hippie movement that mirrored what was happening in San Francisco at the same time. And I believe that some of the bands played in Seattle and even down into San Francisco, like the Collectors did play there. Okay, Disraeli Gears by Cream, 1968. This is an early 80s reissue. Another original from 1968. So 1968 seems to be the popular year for me. Daughters of Albion. I do have the original postcards, but they do show some nudity, so I won't show them in this video. Okay, from 1971, a little more introspective music. Nick Drake, Brighter Later. Then a hard rock band from 1971 called Dust. I have both albums on CD, but this is the only one I have on LP, and I really enjoy it. Okay, with Peter Rowan, The Great American Eagle Tragedy. This came out in 1969, Earth Opera. I have the other album as well. This is the one I prefer. I have all 4 albums by this band, Fever Tree, but this is the one I picked up first, so for sentimental reasons I chose it. Creation. This came out in 1969. Incredible psychedelic band from Japan. This is a Canadian issue from 1971. Flower traveling band, Satori. Another band out of, I believe, UK. This came out, I gotta just change my page of my cheat sheets. This came out in 1970. Ghost, For 1 Second. This is an 80s reissue. It's very magical sounding. Of course, what collection would be complete without, or what desert island would be complete without Jimi Hendrix? Jimi Hendrix Experience, Electric Ladyland from late 1967. From 1972, Arlo Guthrie's Hobo's Lullaby. I saw Arlo Guthrie a couple times. First of all, in 1988 at the Mariposa Folk Fest, and then secondly, just about a year ago when he did his, I guess it would be the 45th anniversary of Alice's Restaurant. Is that what it was? 1967. Well, anyways, almost 50 years. Maybe it was the 50th anniversary. I did watch the movie recently and really enjoyed it. was a real period piece. This is Hunger, strictly from Hunger. This came out, let me just see, this came out in the late 60s, I believe out of LA. Fantastic pop band featuring Jeff Lynne, The Idle Race, Birthday Party. This came out, I believe, in 1968 as well. So 67, 68, 69, those are my years. And then in 1967, The Incredible String Band, great folk rock. Supposedly they didn't get a very good reception at Woodstock, which is surprising given how they just mix so many great different sounds. Lots of talent between Mike Herron and Robin Williamson. Okay, out of 1969, The Insect Trust. And then finally, is this finally? I'll take a look in a minute. This is Kaleidoscope Side Trips from 1967, featuring David Lindley, multi-instrumentalist. Let me see if I did miss one more album or not. Just looking. Oh yeah, of course. This is from about 1970, a band called Jade with Marianne Siegel. Canada they renamed Silver Jade, probably because there was a band called Jade in North America. Again, it's good sort of folk rock. That's it for now. Well, stay tuned for part 2 of my Desert Island albums on vinyl. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below and have a good day. Bye-bye.